Set to match up with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis, happy to be with you. And, Charles, we've got two teams who know each other extremely well. These division games, they tend to be battles.
People scout like crazy in this league, but no one scouts more than within the division. Because if you win your division, you're automatically in the playoffs. That puts extra emphasis on these games, and they can't wait to get at each other.
And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here are the Giants ready to start their initial drive of the game. They'll be commanded by the veteran QB, the former Walter Payton Man of the Year in the league, Eli Manning.
When you look at the numbers that Eli Manning posted in 2017, there's plenty of cause for concern. Lowest yards per completion of his career, fewest yards passing since 2008. His numbers continue to drop in terms of touchdowns and rising in terms of interceptions. But he's one of the fiercest competitors in the league, even if you can't tell it by his demeanor. And no, you don't hear about his workout program like Tom Brady and Drew Brees. But this is a guy that burns to win and wants to get back on the top of the heap.
Now the first running back drafted this year, it's Saquon Barkley. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Right off the bat, it's a first down to start the drive, 12 yards.
And you remember pre-draft, there's a lot of speculation that the Giants should look for their future quarterback at number 2 with a great possibility. Remember, Sam Darnold from USC was still on the board, but they passed on him to take this runner, Saquon Barkley. And this is exactly why. They think he can extend the life of Eli Manning's career and give them 1,000-yard seasons year after year.
They haven't had a 1,000-yard season since 2012. Ahmad Bradshaw did it then. They keep it with Barkley on first down. And that play is blown up, losing yardage back at the 35. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be second down.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
On second down, here's Barkley. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a third down.
Doesn't take any great analysis on my part. It's been pretty obvious. Last couple plays, these guys been going in the wrong direction.
Offensive line overwhelmed on those plays. Now, I think it's safe to say going to the air here on third. So first and second down went in the wrong direction. They'll try to do better here on 3rd and 13. Shotgun now for Manning. Over the middle to Beckham. And he'll be stopped right at midfield. It'll be a gain of 16 and give him a first down as well. So Manning to Beckham in this defense, they better hone in on that connection.
It's almost like an electrical charge for him, isn't it? When he catches the first one, I'm talking about OBJ, he just goes to the huddle and says more, more, more. And really, he's just one of those guys that once he gets going, look out.
A first down carry for Barkley. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. 11 more on that one and another first down.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it'll be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
How fun will it be to watch Barkley and Elliott go at it twice a year? Here's 1st and 10. Now a first carry for their fullback. And an alley to run. And he's going to get this inside the 30. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down. So back-to-back big runs, picking apart this defense on the opening drive.
I thought this was a passing league. I thought this was the era we were in where the ball was always in the air, right?
They didn't get the memo.
They didn't get the memo, and I know this to be true. Offensive linemen still, to this day, they want to run the football. They want to fire out and hit people across the line of scrimmage, and they're clearing space.
Manning now on first down. And bringing it in right side here, Beckham. And down inside the 15 he goes. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first.
Well, that's the Kickstarter right there. Eli Manning finding his guy, Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, it's a deadly combination, isn't it?
It really is, but what really makes it work is just how unflappable Eli is with his demeanor, able to maintain his calm and his poise, because we know OBJ, he can run pretty hot and get excited out there.
Sometimes just one-handed grabs for him.
It doesn't matter what it is. Just throw it up there. He'll go get it.
Now a play fake here on first down. And he finds Shepard. Touchdown, Giants. Sterling Shepard from 13 yards out. And the Giants take it right down and score on the opening drive. Well, that's how they envisioned it, get the football to start the game and score.
And I don't know if that was scripted. Was it an audible? Or was it just a play call that they had in their pocket? No matter what, they had the right call on against the right defense, and they end up in the end zone.
Aldrich Rosas on for the extra point. PAT up and good by Rosas. And it's now a 7-0 game. So that drive in total 8 plays. And it was finished off by a touchdown by the New York Giants. Rosas now to kick this one away. This is fielded at the goal line. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. So here are the Cowboys now ready to go on offense for the first time. They'll be brought out by a man who hails from Sulphur, Louisiana, played his college ball at Mississippi State, the quarterback, Dak Prescott.
The numbers he put up as a rookie, outstanding. But were they really, truly sustainable? Remember, they were 13-3 his rookie season. They ended up going 9-7 in 2017. How about they went from 4 interceptions in 2016 as a rookie to 13 his second year? These are numbers that you didn't expect to stay the same, but I do expect Dak Prescott to continue to get better and better as a quarterback in the NFL.
So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. Here's the first carry for Ezekiel Elliott, and he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
Wow, that play got shut down in a hurry.
As soon as the snap came, you could see defensively they were just closing in. That was going nowhere.
Yeah, you count on your offensive line to give you a little bit of space, a little bit of time so you can make a move. There was none there for him.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. On 2nd down, Elliott. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
So after a good run by Zeke, another 1st and 10. A first down carry by Elliott. And a good swarm to the football defensively as they get him down at about the 40. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. The offensive starters now for the Cowboys.
This offense begins and ends with Ezekiel Elliott. He played in only 10 games last year after leading the league in rushing as a rookie, but still led the league in rushing yards per game for the 2nd year in a row. When he gets his hands on the football, everyone comes to the edge of their seat.
They play fake to Elliott. Now Prescott. And the giant rush gets home as down he goes. Kerry Wynn in there to get him for a loss of 5.
Sometimes I watch games and wonder why they use play fakes on certain passing situations because it's not going to fool anyone. I don't know if that was the case here, but the end result was the same. No one fooled. The quarterback was hit.
They'll need a big play here. Will Dak and the Cowboys after the sack. It's 3rd and long. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. And Beasley with it over the middle. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. Just a 5-yard pickup, and it leads to 4th down.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there. And they rallied and made the tackle.
So on 4th down, here's Chris Jones to punt it away. And he'll get this away into the icy winter air. And that one hits a little too close to the goal line, and it continues into the end zone for a touchback. Giants taking the field again here, and you know this is a team that got off to that woeful 1-7 start. They rallied a bit in the second half of the season here to get a few wins, but I don't think playing spoiler is what Pat Shurmur had in mind for his first season.
No, I don't believe that as well, and I think there were a lot of visions of going from worst to first in their division with Pat Shurmur as the head coach in addition to Saquon Barkley and getting the offense back on track with Odell Beckham Jr. being healthy again. But I go back to the Saquon Barkley move, picking him number 2 in the draft last year. Still hear criticism that the Giants should have taken a quarterback and built that way. They took the best rookie in the draft who's played above expectations. I would make the same pick every single time and find a way to build around it. Whoosh!
And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. The drive starting play, a good one. Give him 19.
Yeah, he was the first back taken in the draft. Ended up going number 2 to the Giants, and there was never a doubt that he would be the first runner off the board. We just saw why. His ability with the ball in his hands to turn a nice little game into something big. He makes plays no matter how you get him the ball.
From up near the 40 now after the big play to start, here's another 1st and 10. Right back to him on first down. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Tackle there by Leighton Vander Esch. And the starting offense now for the Giants.
Great time to focus on a healthy group of pass catchers. How about Odell Beckham, Sterling Shepard, and Evan Ingram? Because health is the key for them. When they're right, they stack up against just about any threesome in the NFL. 2 terrific wide receivers and a tight end that's hard to cover.
A handoff to Barkley, and he'll be brought down just shy of the 45. Jalen Smith, the Notre Dame man, in on the tackle. And now the defense for Dallas.
Coming off a career-high 14.5 sacks in 2017, which tied for second in the NFL, is DeMarcus Lawrence. How did he get to be so good in 2017? Consistency. Finally able to play pretty much a full season to show off a nice array of pass-rushing moves. He knows how to get to the quarterback.
And on third down, the Cowboys bring in an extra defensive back. Working from the gun, Manning. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. It's a gain of 6 on the play, and that'll bring up fourth down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high-percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the first down. In this case, it didn't happen.
And not what he was hoping for there, as this will hit in the end zone for a touchback. Well, partner, as the Cowboys come back out here, I want to ask you to assess the season. The first couple months of the year for Dallas starting to look like they'd be sitting at home in January. Then the Amari Cooper trade comes. They breeze through November unbeaten, part of a 5-game winning streak. But then, a real head-scratcher, Week 15, they get shut out in Indianapolis.
You just wonder if all the wins that got them there, those 5, which were all tough, physical, hard-hitting battles, if it took a little bit out of them before they went on the road and lost Indianapolis in Week 15. But if they get to the playoffs, which it looks like they're going to, are they a threat to New Orleans? Are they a threat to Los Angeles? Are they a threat to Chicago? To me, they are only if it's a low-scoring, physical affair. That's when Dallas plays at its best, and that's what they'll have to do to reduce some of those high-flying teams like New Orleans and Los Angeles. A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they'll pay dividends as the game progresses.
Up at the 29 now, they'll head to the line, 2nd and a yard. They'll give to Elliott, and they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there, but it's enough to give them a new set of downs.
Well, they came into this game saying it was important that they set the tone and show that they can run the football. And I believe that they've done that here in the first quarter.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Prescott looks to throw on first. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete. And the defense for New York.
And what a deal for the Giants to pick up Alec Ogletree to run their defense from the middle linebacker position. A former safety who can flat out run and make tackles in the open field. He enjoys being the centerpiece of a defense and calling signals.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 as they line up 2nd and 10. A 2nd down throw for Prescott. Dancing to his left. Nothing open downfield. He keeps it himself for 11 and a first down.
Partner, as a quarterback, sometimes you just got to know when the clock has gone off in your head, it's time to go. Tuck it and get all you can.
A couple of first downs has the football positioned at the 43 as they come up 1st and 10. The give is to Elliott. And able to work about 5 yards out of this as he's taken down up near the 47.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down. A very solid gain on that play.
A 2nd down throw for Prescott. And there is Amari Cooper, his first catch. And he'll go down inside the 45 before going out of bounds. Cooper's first catch, and good for a first down.
If you're running out route, it's likely you're going to end up near the sideline. And what did we just see there?
Toe tap.
You got it. The benefits of practice. Toe tapping, foot dragging, picking it up, and making sure it was a catch.
So the drive takes them into Giants territory now, 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Off play action to Elliott. Here's Prescott. That is incomplete. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Now Prescott. And incomplete. Here comes the 8th play of the drive, and they need a full 10 yards on 3rd down. And again, it's Prescott. Wide open receiver complete. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. And that's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
A first opportunity in the red zone for the Cowboys. They've got a 1st and 10 at the 17. On the counter, Elliott. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Michael Thomas on the stop.
On that play, it was the defensive front that won the battle. They out-leveraged the offensive line, got into the backfield, and held him to no gain.
Prescott now on 2nd down. That's complete right around the 8. And stopped a few yards shy of the goal line at the 3. His first catch, good for 14 there and a first down. That tight end position, it just seems to continue to evolve every year in the NFL.
Yeah, you're getting really terrific athletes. A lot of them maybe were wide receivers at one point. They continue to give you speed, great hands, and big bodies, which make them excellent targets for quarterbacks.
Out of the gun, here's Prescott. And this is caught for a Cowboy touchdown. Michael Gallup from 3 yards out. And the Cowboys are an extra point away from tying the football game. On those slants, everything happens so quickly. What makes it work?
The timing between the passer and the receiver. In this case, a slant route ordinarily is probably about 3 steps before you go on the slant. In this amount of time, I think it was a 2-step deal. Boom, put his foot in the ground and got inside for the pass.
Got inside for the pass, got inside for the catch and the score. Extra point right down the middle, and we are tied at 7. That one in the books as a 12-play drive, and it culminates in a Dallas touchdown. So we're right back where we started, all even as the kick's away. This will be taken in at the 1. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And now out come the Giants, and hoping to do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. Leverage guys. Win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start to win first down. You win second down. And guess what? You start accumulating first downs, and that's what they need in order to not punt the ball again.
Manning and the Giants come up now 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They'll start out on the ground. It's Saquon Barkley. And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 11.
Anytime you call an inside running play, you just know there should be a lot of congestion there. You're counting on your offensive line to take control of the line of scrimmage. That didn't happen in this case, and that play got bottled up.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. And before they can get settled in here, time expires on the first quarter of action. 7-all is the score. Back to MetLife Stadium in just a moment. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and it's the Giants with the football here as we begin quarter number 2. But they face a 2nd and long to start things out. On play action, it's Manning. He finds his target, Beckham. A Giant first down, Manning to an open Beckham. If you're going to blitz, likely going to leave you in man coverage with this guy, and that is less than ideal.
It is, because just about any offense that has an elite receiver, if you blitz and have him in man coverage, you're going to him, even if he has an elite defender on him, because he usually knows where the ball is before the defender does.
Manning going to come up on 1st and 10, and he's a perfect 5 for 5 here to begin the game. They fake the handoff. Now Manning to Barkley on the check down. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. The loss of 3 on that first down pass play. Now 2nd and 13. From the gun, it's Manning. And this one is incomplete. The Pro Bowler Odell Beckham, the intended receiver. And that takes us from 2nd to 3rd down. Well, prior to that, he had hit his first 6 passes to start the game, so on a nice little run to begin.
It feels like this offense has carried its dress rehearsal into the game. You know, because you do practice it, you do go through it, and in this case, it is clicking exactly like they drew it up.
On 3rd and long, it's Manning. And a big loss here as he's taken down. David Irving able to drop him for a loss of 12, and it'll be 4th down.
Well, we knew this guy wasn't especially fleet of foot, but he tried to conjure up some escapability, but there was no way he was getting away on that one.
Here's Riley Dixon now as he'll kick it away. For Cowboys swarm in, and it's blocked. Now it's scooped up, and this is a live football.
Well, if you were ever wondering, should I believe my special teams coach about, these plays are valuable? Think no more. Huge play, big block, and now they've set up their offense inside the 10-yard line. A chance to score.
The offense for the Cowboys now working their way back onto the field. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
So a great special teams play. They blocked the punt, and excellent field position, first and goal. To throw is Prescott. And that is caught. Touchdown, Cowboys. 2 first-half touchdown passes now for Dak Prescott. And the Cowboys are in for 6.
And before he left for the broadcasting booth, Jason Witten had the tight end position locked down for the better part of a decade for the Cowboys. Now that he's gone, plenty of competition for his old spot. And one of the guys leading the pack, this guy right here, 4th-round pick Dalton Schultz out of Stanford.
Now they'll line up to kick the extra point. Point after, right down the middle. And that makes the score 14-7. A nice, tidy little drive there, getting the ball in excellent field position, and only one play to score it. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. And a lot of times you talk about establishing the ground game. Probably something they need to do more of here, losing in the second quarter.
When you're riding your best horse, you've got to lather him up. The best running backs I've ever talked to, they've all said the exact same thing to me. I'll even break a good sweat until I get to 20 carries.
You're full of good wisdom. Let's see if they can get him into the game more now. Manning and the Giants come up now 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. They begin with a run by Barkley, and he'll go down right at the 30-yard line. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
Partner, I think from our experience together, we have learned that most offensive coordinators are going to tell you, if I'm going to run the football on first down, I've got to get at least 4 yards. They got 5 here. They've got to feel pretty good about that one.
Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5. Manning to throw on 2nd down. He'll complete this to Ingram as tight end. First target, first catch, and a first down. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Here's a give to Barkley. And he puts his head down and gets up to the 42 for a gain of about 6.
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9.
Now Saquon Barkley. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
They're making it look easy out there. Another first down. So far on this drive, let me do this little bit of math here. 4 plays, 3 first downs.
That's a pretty good recipe for success. So from Cowboy territory now, here's 1st and 10 at the 47. On the run, it's Barkley. And he coughed it up, and the Cowboys have recovered. Now the Cowboys offense heads back onto the field, and they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
So Prescott of the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their own 43. They'll start the drive with Elliott. And he'll take this for about 4 up to the 46-yard line.
Well, if you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Elliott a first down and more. 20, 10, touchdown, Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott, 54 yards. And the Cowboys are able to show off their quick strike ability. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
The call is to go for 1 and kick the extra point. Extra point splits the uprights, and it's now 21-7. So 2 plays on that scoring drive. That's how they drew it up. And the long run into the end zone, and what a run it was. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll take this one near the 25, call it the 26-yard line. The offense takes the field, and we turn our attention to Saquon Barkley. He's had it working pretty well here in this first half up until that last drive when he put it on the turf, Charles.
So I don't think they want to overreact to that fumble, because now you've got a guy that's played so well. You don't want to take him and limit his effectiveness by worrying about it too much. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw him next week at meetings. He'd have a football with him at all times.
Manning and the Giants come up now 1st and 10 at their own 26. Now Manning. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. First play of the drive going for 14 and a first down.
When you're struggling on offense, you're looking for anything possible to get you going. Sometimes you do it like basketball teams that don't normally press. You put a press on, bring people to life, make them move a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll help them as they head towards the half.
Manning now on first down. He's got a man. It's Corey Coleman. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. It's a pickup of 16 there, and it'll lead to a new set of downs. Manning now nearly perfect. 9 of 10 in this first half. It's 1st and 10. Manning. Coleman has it here right side. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. A gain of 6 there on first.
Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, you often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for second down, staying ahead of schedule. 6 yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's 2nd and 4. They'll run it now out of the gun. Dances by him. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. 12 yards there as they move the chains.
Some big plays in the passing game on this drive. And here's one out of the running game. So the passing game loosening things up. Now there's room to roam.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. 12 yards on back-to-back plays there, and that's another first down.
I'm okay with the call there. In fact, I actually like it. I know they're down a couple of scores, but the running game worked in that situation. I would continue to go in that direction.
They'll run it now out of the gun. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Let's give a lot of credit to the offensive line. They've been able to move the ball really well on the ground the entire game. And while that wasn't a huge one, that's okay. They'll take them in short, steady bursts.
Now it's Barkley. He showed some tough running, but they'll drop him at the 5-yard line. Good work to pick up 7 yards there. That gets him into a 3rd and 1 situation.
This guy's well on his way now to a big game on the ground. It's another good run there. Puts him over the century mark in yardage, and we're still in the second quarter.
The Giants on third down, just 1 for 3 thus far. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. And looked like some movement there. Let's get the call.
False start, offense. Still 3rd down.
Well, that's a tough, costly penalty because now it makes it 3rd and 6 after the false start. Shotgun now for Manning. And probably the wise decision there. No one open. He just throws it away. And that keeps the field goal on the table as it's 4th down. Some of the fans here don't seem too happy about what we've seen in this first half.
No, not at all, and I understand why. They've looked lethargic, out of sync, and it shows on the scoreboard.
Aldrick Rosas now to try the Giants field goal. And the kick by Rosas is good. And that will get the disadvantage now back down to 11. So they've put together a good little drive there, but ultimately stalling out in the red zone.
Yeah, I know a lot of people look at it as a little bit of a negative. They didn't get 6 points out of it, right? Didn't get the touchdown. But that's actually okay. They got 3 points, able to give their defense a little bit of rest, let them settle down over there. So all in all, to me, that's a good drive.
After the field goal, here's Rosas to kick it away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. And let's gaze our attention on Ezekiel Elliott. He's in his zone, second quarter, already closing in on a 100-yard game.
And that's the magic number for a running back. Anytime you get to that triple digits, that's all you're looking for. But he's got a chance to really exceed that in this one.
Yeah, he does. That's been the gold standard for a long time, hasn't it, that 100-yard mark?
It really has, and that never has to shift because it's in a game. It's a 1,000-yard mark. I'm wondering, since we've gone from 12 to 14 to 16 games, maybe we need to up that a little.
Prescott on first down. Over the middle, Amari Cooper. It's complete. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. A gain of 6 there on first.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders. Hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or?
Better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
6 yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's 2nd and 4. Prescott from the gun. That's into the hands of Gallup over the middle. And he'll be brought down right around the 37. He had the touchdown earlier. This one's going to get him a first down. And just a small glimpse there as to why they like this rookie so much.
And that's why they lit up a little bit in our meetings with the coaching staff, didn't they?
When we talked about him, they did.
Yeah, you know, they like his work ethic. You know, this guy's running every route well in the route tree and getting better at it all the time. Really honing his game. They expect a pretty good jump out of him as things continue to move on.
Prescott now 8 of 11 in this first half. He's got it 1st and 10. 10th carry now for Elliott. And hard running's going to get him over the 40 to the 42. Carry Wynn, the one to bring him down.
I think we can safely say that those types of players are the backbone of this offense. We know not every run's going to be a big hitter, but you know they'll take that type of result on each and every attempt.
Second down, Prescott. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down.
That was an okay hook up there with his tight end, but unfortunately, they didn't get the kind of yards they had hoped for. That's going to bring up third down.
They'll try and run for it with Elliott. And he's got the first down yardage before being taken down at midfield. A gain of 4 that time as the drive continues.
Just about every coach we talk to says the crowd shouldn't affect us. That shouldn't be an issue. And then the next breath they talk about taking the crowd and taking them out of the game by picking up first downs and keeping them at bay. I think we just saw an example of that there, didn't we?
Important to do, especially early in the game like they have. Two minutes remain here in the first half. We're back to East Rutherford, but first this timeout. A reminder, coming up at halftime, Jonathan Coachman will join us from Orlando with our halftime report, but business to take care of before we get there.
A 2-minute drill before the coach's 2-minute drill.
Prescott now from the 50. This one caught left side by Cooper. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. Give him 11 yards that time and a new set of downs. Prescott going to come up 1st and 10. And he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. Prescott now. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
That's very well timed there defensively because it's not a bad throw, but the collision came at the exact time he was reaching to bring in the football. Really, really well done.
Decent offense, just better defense. I think you're right. So line of scrimmage still the 39 on 2nd and 10. Throwing again. Prescott on 2nd and 10. And this one caught by Beasley. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
The Cowboys on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 7. To the air again, Prescott. And he's got his man on the out route. And now we won't see a play on 1st down. We're going to get a timeout instead, as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in half number 1. So the offensive unit called the TO, and now we are ready to resume play. Prescott going to come up 1st and 10, and he's 6 of 7 now on this drive.
Here we go.
Prescott yet again. Throw right side, taken in by Gallup. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. So the offense takes the timeout, and they are back out and ready to rock. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. And again, it's Prescott. And this is caught. It's Cooper. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. It's a nice pickup of 12 yards, and it gives him a 1st and goal. A chance to really cap off a big first half here as they come up on 1st and goal. Now Elliott. Now a signal and a timeout call, as it comes with 9 seconds to go in this first half of play. And we are back here. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. So the offense takes the timeout, and now we're set to get going. Second and goal from inside the 5. Out of the gun. Here's Prescott. A dump off to Elliott. And he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. The Cowboys on 3rd down. They've been good. 3 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and goal. So we have reached halftime here with the visiting Cowboys out on top, as we'll get you down the coast to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much, and welcome everyone to this abridged version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. This one has been a hard-hitting affair to this point, and you gotta expect we'll see more of the same in the second half. And to bring the action your way, let's get it right back out to Brandon Gaudin.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Cowboys will get the football first here, and they have the lead as well as we are underway in quarter 3. Jackson now to return. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. Out come the Cowboys now as they'll go on offense first here in this 3rd quarter. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spend the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. second half starts with a carry by Elliott. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll make it second and a foot or so.
Now, that was an excellent run. And when you see that happen, that's when you're seeing guys doing their job and then some people doing a little bit more. Offensive linemen and tight ends, they're expected to block. But the wide receivers, all they want to do is catch passes. So when they block on a big-time running play and create extra space, you've kind of hit the jackpot there.
Prescott now on second down. And he's got his big tight end over the middle, complete. And out across midfield down to the 45. A good pickup there of 20 yards.
When this offense can get their tight ends involved, they can move the football. Here, a nice route, able to look it in, and picks up the first down.
Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. They'll run it now out of the gun. He doesn't find a ton of space following the display of quick feet down just inside the 45. There to stop him on the defensive side, Lorenzo Carter.
Well, praise has to go to the guys on the offensive line because they've had a very nice, productive day running the football. How about that poor defensive line? They've been knocked around the entire game, and while they slowed them down on that run, can they continue to do so? Because they haven't had much success throughout this ball game.
A second down throw for Prescott. Looking middle, and it's incomplete. The Cowboys on third down. They've been good, 3 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 7. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. And that is incomplete. So on trots the field goal unit, and wow, this is going to be a challenge here. They spot it on the midfield stripe, so it is a 60-yard attempt here. And he's going to miss this one. That is no good. Well outside the left upright, and this score will stay right where it is. So an empty possession there. What do you think went wrong, Charles?
Well, it looked like maybe the plant leg might have given way just a little. And when that happens, guys have a tendency to pull through the ball to compensate. And in doing so, sent this one off target.
Here's the Giants offense now getting set to start the third quarter. They were able to get the stop defensively. Now a chance really to set the tone here in quarter 3.
They can really take charge, can't they? And this is probably how it was drawn up at the half. I think we can go inside the locker room, all right? And I think we would see up on the grease boards, stop them defensively, get the ball back for the offense, and let's go downfield and score. Seems simple, right? The last part, we have to find out that's going to happen. But the first part worked to perfection. Did exactly what they wanted, and now their offense has to pay it off.
See if they can get the latter 50%. Well, they tried the field goal from just inside of 70 yards. It missed, and now this offense set up nicely at midfield. This is Barkley. And give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
Now Manning throwing on second down. The throw to the left side, caught by Coleman. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. 9 yards on the pickup there, and it keeps the drive alive. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Now a play fake here on 1st down. And he's going to be out of bounds down around the 35-yard line. The completion good for 3, and it's 2nd down.
Let's make this one simple. What a catch, especially the finishing part of getting his feet in bounds, toe tapping, and, of course, foot dragging.
Little tapestry, if you will.
Oh, I like it.
That 1st down completion only netted him 3. 2nd and 7. They'll run with Barkley. And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. No gain on the play, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
And there's a nice stop for the defense. They've had a tough time containing this guy all game long, but maybe they can build a little bit off of that play, a little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum. Yeah, every now and then you can actually tackle that guy.
Throwing is Manning on 3rd down. And he can't quite pick it. No interception so far. That probably should have been their first, but at least it's 4th down.
I know ultimately that feels like a good defensive play, but I know it's really not. They had a chance to keep points off the board. Now they have a chance to kick a field goal by missing that shot.
Yeah, especially at this spot in the field. He's got to be upset he couldn't come up with that INT. So out comes a field goal team now for the 2nd time here today. From the left hash, this will be a 52-yard attempt. And Rosas puts this one through. And that'll make this an 8-point game. So a decent drive there to start the 3rd quarter. They only salvaged 3 out of it, but they inch a bit closer.
Yeah, but still lots of time to go in this one. That's why you hear that clapping on the sidelines, right? Hey, got some points. As you said, inching their way back in. Time left to go out and get that victory.
After the field goal, here's Rosas to kick it away. Jackson now to return. And he'll get it up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Dak and the Cowboy offense heading back onto the field. He's played well. Good first half. He's continued that here in the 3rd quarter. But my question, when you're a head coach, what do you look at stat line-wise for your coach? Do you go right to turnovers?
You really do. As much as coaches don't want to talk about that, that's where it starts. When I played in college, our first rule for every game, the team making the fewest mistakes will win. And that's kind of how they judge you. Do you take care of the ball, not turn it over, keep it in the proper hands, and give your team a chance to win?
Well, that's what he's done here in this one so far. Now Prescott. His throw incomplete.
Well, Brandon, all receivers are trying to make sure that the defender thinks they'll go into the middle of the field when they're running the out cut. On that play, didn't get it done very well because that one was batted down.
So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22. A 2nd down throw for Prescott. And that'll be incomplete.
Well, partner, so much for the mismatch. How about the guy at the 2nd level, that big linebacker, able to run with the receiver and make a play on the football?
Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
And the blitz does come. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. There was the pressure you were talking about, force the incompletion.
And it doesn't always have to end in a sack, does it? Sometimes you can make a good play by forcing the incompletion with the pressure.
Out now comes the Cowboys punter as he'll punt it away for the second time. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. This is taken at the 23. 12 yards on the return that time, and it'll be Giant football 1st and 10. The offense takes the field, and we turn our attention to Saquon Barkley. And there are the numbers. Got off to that torrid hot start. We thought he was in for maybe a career day. Not the case.
No doubt about it. It almost looks like a misprint after what we saw in the first half. But let's give a little bit of credit to the guys on the other side of the ball. They went in at halftime, made a few adjustments, and you know what else? They didn't lose their confidence in their ability to play. Because a lot of times you get beat down in the first half, it gets ugly in the second half. They've come out with a new resolve and a renewed determination.
They go play action here on 1st down. To Shepard, complete over the middle. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. And a nice gain of 21 yards. And there they went crossing route against the zone defense. What do you think of that?
Takes real coordination between the passer and the receiver, because you got to read those zones and where the open spots are and be on the same page with the guy throwing the football. Because sometimes you're throwing it in front of the zone. Sometimes you're throwing it between the zones. Sometimes the receiver's going to just kind of find a spot and what we call sit down and present himself to the quarterback and throw it there. It's a tough read, but when they're in sync, it's really effective.
Manning now 13 of 16 throwing the football. It's 1st and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
The best defensive linemen, they play with great leverage so they can get low and not get bowled over by offensive linemen. They have excellent hands. They can throw people off on a play. We just saw a great example of a really good run stop by a guy playing the defensive tackle position.
They'll go to Barkley again, and he'll take it inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. Tyrone Crawford in on the tackle.
Well, that's not a run that's going to make any of the highlight tapes, but they've been moving it well all game on the ground. This is another one that keeps them moving forward.
The Giants on 3rd down. Just 1 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 5. Working from the gun, Manning. He finds Beckham complete. And he's going to get this inside the 30. Manning able to find OBJ there for a Giants 1st down.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. 1st down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
Manning now 5 straight completions here in this second half. 1st and 10. Barkley. And only a yard this time as he's taken down right around the 26.
So where'd all that running room that he had in the first half go? Because it looks like it's drying up a little bit here. Someone made some adjustments, it appears, at least on this drive.
They'll run it again with Barkley. And he's going to take this one down to about the 23-yard line. Only a gain of a couple there. That leaves them needing about 7 here on 3rd down. The Giants on 3rd down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This is 3rd and 7. From the gun, it's Manning. Looking for his receiver, Sharp, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Anthony Brown. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
That was a really nice interception. I think it illustrates the differences between playing man and playing zone. When you're in man, all you're focused on is the receiver in front of you. But when you're in zone, you're allowed to read the quarterback's eyes and go to the ball. That's exactly what happened on that play.
Now Dak Prescott and the offense heading back onto the field. How do you think he personally is evaluating his game so far? He was pretty good in the first half, been good so far here in the third quarter. He's got to like it, right?
Not looking for the dramatics here. Not trying to set the world on fire in terms of stats. It's almost like you're driving. Hands at 10 and 2, alert for anything out there, watching for trouble on the road, and making sure you get the team home.
The bus driver. Let's see if he can drive the bus here again on this drive. They start on the ground with Elliott. And he goes across the 20 to the 22. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on first down, that fits the bill.
Now Prescott. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
It's a lot of contact going on there, and in the end, unable to keep 2 hands on the football and bring it into his body.
Everything looked pretty good until the finish. So the incomplete pass on the last play, and that leads us to a 3rd and 3. Off play action to Elliott. Here's Prescott. To the sideline. Wow, what a catch. Doesn't get a lot out of it, but he is able to keep the feet in bounds. Give him 3 on the play, and it'll be 4th down.
I think the training and practice broke down on that play because he simply didn't run the route deep enough to get to the first down marker, despite what was a really nice catch and toe tap on the sideline.
Well, that's 3rd down 101. You got to go to the marker, know where it is. And New York set to take the field. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the ending, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
Manning and the Giants come up now 1st and 10 at their own 12-yard line. And they'll go with a ground attack here. And a very short pickup there across the 15 to the 16. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Not a big run on the first play of the drive, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad play. Sometimes you're just trying to settle in, get your guys a little bit of contact, and get things moving.
Again, it's Barkley. And they'll bring him down here up at about the 22-yard line. 7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Manning now on 1st down, and that's incomplete. Red Allison, the intended receiver, and now it's 2nd down. So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22. Manning will try again on 2nd down. Looking for his receiver, Sharp, and it's intercepted. picked off by Anthony Brown. And they'll take over inside the 45 at the 44-yard line.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
Ezekiel Elliott gets ready to go again here on offense as he shuffles onto the field. He's up over 100 yards, and he'll be looking to get in the end zone again.
Has a tremendous nose for it, doesn't he? The ability to pile up yardage and find the end zone, that's the combination you want in your runner.
That's a combination any coach wants, and we'll see if he can find that end zone once more. They go back to Elliott. He's been busy. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. It's a 6-yard pickup, but it gets him to 2nd and 4.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to him back.
Second down, Prescott. Wide open receiver complete. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. 15 yards through the air on a first down. This is Elliott, and maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. Call it a loss of 2 on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 12.
I don't know about you, partner, but I'm rubbing my eyes after that play. Did we just see that runner not get yardage? A big-time play by the defense. It does happen occasionally, even against the best running backs who are having big days.
Again, it's Elliott. And not much of a hole there as he gets it down to about the 24-yard line. Alec Ogletree in on the stop. And third quarter here, you've got the lead. This is where that strong run game can really benefit you. Stayed in bounds there, kept the clock going.
I like all the points you just made there. And if you throw the football and it's incomplete, now you've stopped the clock and you've helped out the guys on the other side of the ball. So keep it in the hands of those runners. Keep moving it. Keep grinding clock.
He's going to go up top for the end zone. So they took a shot there on third down. Couldn't get it. Now it's 4.
Quarterbacking 101. Never force the ball into double coverage, especially not this close to the goal line. The windows are so tight, you just don't want to force it in there because it could be tipped up and picked off.
So out comes a field goal team now for the second time here today. From the right hash, it's a 41-yard attempt. And his kick is good. And that will bump the lead up to 11. So he missed his first attempt, remember, but this time he gets back on the bike and knocks it home.
Yeah, and sometimes that first one can really impact you moving forward. It can just stay with you too long and affect everything else you do during the game. In this case, though, able to shake it off. He's riding high again.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. Eli Manning and company getting set here as they head back onto the field. And right now, probably just one thing in his mind. It's getting back to the hot start because he's really faded.
And ordinarily when that happens, the quarterback, as you know, is usually the leader of the squad. Now there's probably a silent camaraderie that comes about him saying, hey, guess what? We got you. Don't worry about it. Let's go, big fella. Because they know more times than not, he tends to pick things up, and they tend to play well.
Try to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. Give him 9 on the play, and it'll be second and about a yard.
And a nice gain and a broken tackle along the way, and really we shouldn't be surprised, should we? That's what runners do, especially the best ones. They break tackles and gain extra yardage.
Maybe a good spot to take a shot. Here's second and a yard from the 34. On play action. Now Manning. He's going to float this one deep right side. And he can't hang on. He had a good shot there for his third pick of the game. Instead, it's third down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And, look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually, that becomes man on man. And you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. Manning to throw on 3rd and 1. And this is going to be incomplete.
On 3rd and 1, I think everyone in the stadium thought they'd try and run the football there, but they tried to surprise the defense and hit something through the air. Instead, it results in an incompletion.
Here's Riley Dixon now. Remember, though, he did have one blocked earlier. Now Austin. A very good return that time. 18 yards. And the Cowboys will take over the football with a 1st and 10. Dak Prescott on the offense heading back onto the field. He has been consistent, hasn't he? He played well in the first quarter, good second quarter, and now continuing that here in the third.
And that's the word that they're always seeking from the guy taking the snaps, is consistency. Taking care of the ball, making sure it gets to the right people, no errors, right? Not turning it over, and just doing all the right things. That's leadership, and it inspires confidence in a team.
Yeah, been a good leadership and a good distributor. Elliott. And he'll take this up near the 35, maybe the 34. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
An opportunity to get a drive started here at the end of the third quarter. What you're trying to do is break the game down a little bit. Don't let your guys see too deep into the game, into the future, and say, oh, we got to get here. No, right here, right in front of them, melt the clock down, get to the fourth quarter, try and keep going.
And try to keep that lead.
Exactly.
And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Back now here at MetLife Stadium. It's the Cowboys with the football. They'll be looking to tack onto their lead as we get set for the fourth. They play fake to Elliott. Now Prescott. And Beasley with it over the middle. And he's taken down right at the 45-yard line. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
Well, how about this aggressive approach? Got the lead, fourth quarter, continuing to throw the football. Are you thinking about Super Bowl 51? Atlanta had the lead against New England, and they ended up giving it up?
I was going to say don't say it, but you did say it.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah, anybody watching Atlanta, our apologies. On play action, Prescott. Eluding the pressure right. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. He'll get 8 on the scramble there. It'll be second and a couple.
Now, that was not a bad scramble there on first down. He didn't force it, nor did he throw it away. He was able to take off, and now he made it a very manageable second and short.
Off the play fake, Prescott. And that is incomplete.
So it looked like maybe his third or his fourth read on his progression. Just trying to find his outlet man that time. Ends up leading him just a bit too much.
The Cowboys on third down. They've converted 3 times in 8 chances. This time they face a 3rd and 2. Play action now, Prescott. Oh, Prescott stripped, but this will get out of bounds, so possession will stay the same.
And I have to admit, partner, that I've often thought that I don't like this rule, where the offensive player fumbles the ball, it goes out of bounds, and they get to keep it.
That's just because you're a defensive guy. That's why you don't like it.
Yeah, you're right. It is a slanted view, isn't it?
But this is where, for the offensive team, the sideline is their friend. Usually it's not their friend.
Yeah, exactly right. I actually played for a guy in college. You know what he used to name the sideline? Sammy. Sammy sideline, and use him well.
A 20th carry here for Elliott. And he's going to take this one down to about the 23-yard line. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8. Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
Yeah, think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking, yet at the same time not going so fast as to leave too much time on the clock.
And able to work his way down to the 16. Good work to pick up 7 yards there. That gets him into a 3rd and 1 situation.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I can just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there, I'm going to tackle this guy. By the 4th quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down 4th quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently. They'll try to run forward with Smith. Call it no gain that time, and they're going to be left looking up at a 4th and 1. Boy, that's a lot of sirloin steak to be taken down for no gain, partner.
Are you trying to suggest that he is a huge man?
He is
not just a big man, a huge man.
Big boy.
Well, how about the credit then for the defense to be able to chop that big tree and put him on the ground?
I know back when you played, it took 4 of you to take a guy like that down, right?
Well, that's for sure. And you know what else? I didn't want to challenge him at dinner either.
And his kick here is good. And that will get the lead up to 14. So the drive stalls out inside the 15-yard line, but they do get 3.
And I've talked with enough players nowadays, and when they have these types of kicks, that no one says to their guy, hey, that's just like making an extra point, piece of cake. Because the extra point is not a piece of cake anymore. But kicking a field goal from that distance, just give him confidence and let him knock it through.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. New York set to take the field. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
Manning and the Giants come up now 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. Shotgun now for Manning. Over the middle, complete. That's Shepard. And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. They may want to go back to that one. First play of the drive, good for 15 and a first down. At this stage, this drive's got to be touchdown or bust because you need 2 of them.
And if I'm the offensive play caller, I'm not just looking at my dagger plays downfield. I'm looking at some of my specials, something that can fool them and give you a big play now.
With a sense of urgency.
No doubt.
So quickly all the way up at the 40-yard line. On 1st and 10, here's Manning. And nearly picked off. Surprising to see a defender of his caliber let it get away, but it does get away and it's 2nd down. I guess they're in a situation now, 4th quarter, where they're forced to take some chances, but I don't know that that was the type of a chance you want to take.
And that one could very easily have been intercepted, and if it does get picked off, that could possibly seal this one.
So 2nd down and 10. Once again, they'll go from the 40. Back to the air on 2nd down. It's Manning. And his throw's going to be incomplete. He was looking for Odell Beckham that time. And that'll make it 3rd down. The Giants on 3rd down. They've struggled to the tune of 2 for 8 so far. This is 3rd and 10. Now Manning again. And now another one thrown incomplete. Here's Riley Dixon now as he's on to punt for New York. Cowboys. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right?
Not one that I've ever met.
Here's Elliott. And not much there as he gets it up to about the 5-yard line. A gain of 3, 2nd down. The recipe's pretty simple, I think, right? Just give your superstar the ball, continue to feed him.
Yeah, don't overthink this one, right? Make sure he's touching the football, but you're also counting on his intelligence in playing the game as well. If it's not there, don't force the run. Just make sure you hang on to the football and keep the clock ticking.
Back near his goal line, it's Prescott. Throwing middle, and it's complete. And he'll get it up a little shy of the 15. They'll spot him down at the 14-yard line. They get 9 there, and in the process, escaping their end zone, picking up a first down. 5th catch of the game for him there.
Yeah, and the tight end position is now becoming a volume pass catcher. Used to be occasional, right? Safety valve. Throw one to him every so often, but mainly they want him out there to block. nowadays an integral part of the passing game, and they create such great mismatches that they often become the leading receiver.
So still backed up, but the situation not as dire now. 1st and 10 at the 14. Now Elliott. A nice move gets him a few extra. Down just shy of his 20. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5. Good gain there on 1st down. It keeps them in a running situation probably.
They did everything right on that play, didn't they? They got the leverage up front, good blocking, nice hole for him, ends up picking up nice yardage, stays in bounds to keep the clock rolling. They are in charge of this scenario right now. They want to stay that way.
And not in any rush offensively. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move the chains. And defensively, they just don't seem to have much of an answer for this passing game.
Not at all. Look at the confidence that's exhibited here. With that type of a lead, clock on their side, instead of running it, they're still throwing it, trying to pick up 1st downs and keeping the football.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Play fake. Here's Prescott. Oh, incomplete. A turnover would have really helped there. Almost intercepted. Instead, it's just 2nd down.
I think he's taking an awful chance with the football right there. You've got to lead. You've got to protect it. And he's taking chances putting it out there in a little bit of jeopardy.
Especially in a spot like this. 4th quarter, as you said, trying to cling to that advantage.
Yeah, that one probably should have been picked, huh?
Line of scrimmage, the 31 as they line up 2nd and 10. Throwing again. Prescott on 2nd and 10. Throw right side, taken in by Gallup. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. A really nice gain of 25 yards. He's played a great game. It continues right there, even with this lead, confident to throw the pass and have the reception made.
There's no doubt who the leader of their team is there? There's no doubt who they want to ride all the way to the finish, because strategy would tell you run the football, run the clock down. Instead, they're letting him throw it because they feel that confident in what he's getting done.
So the drive takes them into Giants territory now, 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. To the air again, Prescott. On the left side, Gallup's got it. And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. Two big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. Here we go now with Smith. And he'll get in. Touchdown, Cowboys. A great effort there. A 3-yard touchdown run. And the Cowboys will extend their lead. And remember, that drive started back at the 2, 98 yards into the end zone to finish with that run.
And what do you think the guy who punts the ball was doing? I mean, when that drive started, he was thinking about, okay, catch it, get rid of it, right? When he was warming up in the net, don't step backwards and create a safety, because he was counting on worst-case scenario. And as the drive went on, he figured...
He turned that net into a hammock.
Exactly. Give me a drink of water and let me just relax.
Extra point right down the middle. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. So that drive goes 8 plays. And it ends with a 3-yard scoring run. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. Fielded about a yard deep. And he's able to get it across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down at the 21-yard line. And New York set to take the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Manning and the Giants come up now 1st and 10 at their own 21. From the gun, Manning. Over the middle, he's got his tight end, Ingram. And he takes it all the way down to the 32. A big play there for the Giants. 47 yards.
Now, that play will end up on the highlights, and you'll see it all over the place. But what you won't see, the offensive line that bought the extra time, that allowed for the big completion downfield, those guys made that play possible.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Throwing on 1st down is Manning. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Shepard. And a loose football. And the Cowboys have recovered. And I don't know that that fumble is going to matter a whole lot. You look at the deficit here in the 4th. It doesn't matter. The coach on the sideline still scratching his head. Yeah, not only scratching his head, but probably writing a note or two about, we're going to address this come practice next week, because maybe that's the reason we're down this far. Doesn't matter at this point, but being sloppy throughout the game, not going to help them improve. Out comes Michael Gallup and company as they take the field. Let's see here, Charles. 6 catches, over 100 yards. Call that a pretty good day at the office. And I love the accumulation, the catches, the yardage. That means he's having a pretty good impact on this ball game and really helping his team out in a big way. Means he wants the football again, right? And it's funny because some of these receivers are very vocal about how much they're getting it. Others are quieter, but they still let you know, give me the ball, I'm going to make a play.
Here we go.
A 1st down carry by Elliott. Looking for a crease, can't find one. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. Absolutely love the effort there. The ability to flow from his inside spot and stop that one at the line of scrimmage. Nice linebacker play. A 2nd down throw for Prescott. Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete. I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you? Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. The Cowboys on 3rd down. They're right at about the league average, 40%, 4 for 10. This is 3rd and 10. A give to Elliott. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. Call it a gain of 10, and they pick up the 1st. Well, sometimes, Brandon, there's just not a secret to how things get done. He's been running well all game long, and they continue to rely on him in this key situation. They told us they were going to rely on him. They have. He comes through there, a big 3rd down conversion. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. They keep on the ground with Elliott. Found a little room there as he's up to about the 37. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
On second down, Elliott. And a good swarm to the football defensively as they get him down at about the 40. Josh Morrow on the stop. The Cowboys on third down. They've converted 5 times in their many chances thus far. Here it's 3rd and 2. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. And he'll have his man. That's Cooper. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. 5th catch of the afternoon, and that gives him a first down. Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. So the Cowboys in possession of the football here as we get you reset. And the scoreboard on their side, they're just looking to melt away these final couple of minutes and put this one in the left-hand column. A pair of first downs gives them a 1st and 10 up at the 44. The give is to Elliott. And some good tackling there as he stopped up at about the 41. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
They're in a pretty good spot right now with a convincing lead. I think this is where they put on the boxing gloves, start to try and pound them into submission.
And the offensive line, they've controlled this game. I don't see why that trend would change now. They go to Elliott again. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And that's going to make it 3rd down and 10.
Hey, a lot of points have been scored in this game, but what a nice play by the defense. Stepping up on that one. Maybe they'll get things going in their direction after a play like that.
Here comes the 8th play of the drive, and they need a full 10 yards on 3rd down. On the counter, Elliott. And some good tackling there as he stopped up at about the 41. Call it a gain of 3, and it'll bring up 4th down. So coming on now is the field goal unit. They're going to try for 3, and he'll need all the leg he's got here. So this will be spotted on the midfield logo. It's a 58-yard attempt. A road win in the National Football League. Charles, you never take that for granted no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing.
You take it and you run with it. And you know you primed the pump all week in your own home facility. No one thinks we can do this. Only people who believe are right here in this room. And then you go on the road, band together, and get it done.
So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports. With that, we say so long from MetLife Stadium.